How is everybody doing tonight? Welcome back to another episode of the GRYD Network. This time we've got a special show, full 2-round mock draft. My guy Tim said mock draft spectacular. And so it's gonna be a laid back kind of night. We're gonna go through full 2 rounds, every single team. But before we get started, I'm EJ Savage. I'm gonna be the host for tonight's show. My show is Boys in the Zone. Typically, you see me with the Cowboy stuff, but we're going every single team tonight. We got Mike Guido to my right. Go ahead and shout yourself out, man.
Yeah. I'm Mike Guido, host of the Bi-Coastal Baseball Podcast, co-founder of the GRYD Network. I am extremely honored to have two of the smartest football people in the industry joining me right here. Listen, I'm super excited. This is Christmas in April for me, fellas. So I'm ready.
There you go. And Tim.
What's up, guys? Yeah, host of the Boston Sports Summit live on the GRYD Network every Wednesday at 7. We talk obviously all Boston sports. You can see behind me. You get the Al Horford poster, the Paul Pierce jersey, Super Bowl 39, the Red Sox. I mean, talk about everything. But this is like my favorite time of year. The only thing is I wish I had more hours in the day to just watch film. Like, honestly. You know, I put together, me and a buddy put together a draft board a few years back, and it was like, you know, the amount of hours we were watching film, it was like, man, I can't get anything else done.
Absolutely. That Al Horford poster, you rolled it up one season, then you had to bust it back out the time that he got traded back to the Celtics. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and pull this mock draft simulator up. And with the first pick, I believe it's Mike.
Yeah, it's me. It's me. I have the honor of the first pick here. So this seems to be, at least in my mind, I don't anticipate anything super crazy here. I think Chicago takes Caleb Williams right now. I think I would say right now he's my number 2 player. I'm very high on Marvin Harrison Jr., but listen, he's got the arm talent to make every single throw. He's super duper mobile. He's one of these guys that kind of relies on the spectacular at times. He can get a little bit erratic, but I'm going to take Caleb Williams here. I do have some concerns with the head. I know that Tim and I have talked about this before, where it just seems like it's, you know, whether it's a I don't want to call it a selfishness, but maybe he's, you know, could be a little bit full of himself. He could be, you know, we're not sure, you know, what was it, the Pac-12 tournament game where he ran into his mother's arms in the stands and everything like that. Like, I'm not a guy who's against men crying, but there's also, you have to lead a group of 30-something-year-old men. You know, if I have maybe some leadership quality issues there, but talent is off the charts, off the arm talent, accuracy, he can make every play. I think right now it's the consensus number 1 pick. So as the Chicago Bears, I will take Caleb Williams.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, he's my number 2 player as well. Just to get a word in here about him, I think that he's dynamic. He's one of those guys that typically you look for at least one special quality. He has, in my opinion, 4 special qualities. Just his ability to extend plays, has all the arm talent, velocity for a quarterback. He has good accuracy, and he just makes some circus throws. Some people obviously compare him to a Patrick Mahomes, but obviously that's lofty expectations. You know, one of the best in the game, if not the best. But you know, I truthfully think that the Bears are building something that's going to be fun. Especially, you know, pairing him with some new weapons there in Chicago. With the second pick, I have the second pick right here. The Washington Commanders. Obviously, I'm a Cowboys fan, so I could sabotage them here right now.
Long snapper, number 2 pick.
There we go.
Yeah, long snapper. Here we go. No, realistically, I am going to go Drake May. I think that he is clear cut, probably number 2. I know a lot of people want to talk about Jaden Daniels, the Heisman. Excuse me, the former Heisman, but Drake May just has so much upside, and yes, he plays some hero ball a little bit, but I really feel like they are gearing to pick Drake May instead of Jaden Daniels, and I know there's the talks about them getting Marcus Mariota and them getting Cliff Kingsbury in there, and they probably want a mobile guy, but Drake May, you guys are sleeping on his athleticism. He's a very athletic guy. He comes from a basketball background. So yeah, just don't sleep on him athletically wise. I think he's going to be that number 2 pick. And with the number 3 pick, we got Tim up here with the Patriots.
Yeah, so with this, I want to look at the trades. Like, you know, I know that like right now, obviously going quarterback at number 3 is probably ideal, but I want to try to, because this isn't going to be a 1-year fix. And I like Jaden Daniels. I also am a big fan of Michael Penix, which is why I wouldn't mind trading back to see what I could get at number 3.
Well, here's the thing. I have the Minnesota Vikings number 11 pick and number 23 pick. I'm not going to give you Justin Jefferson. So don't even ask.
Don't even ask. Well, trust me, I wouldn't be asking just for that. But
what are you offering? This is a negotiation right here. What are you offering?
All right, yeah, number 3 for 11-23 in next year's first.
Next year's first. I mean, it's for a quarterback. You know, I actually don't think that's crazy price.
Actually, nah. Of course, I just thought of it, but
what?
I was going to say, we can even scrap next year's first and give me Christian Darrisaw.
Ooh, Christian Darrisaw, the defensive tackle. Defensive
tackle. Give up your I think tackle also. Ooh.
I think you're thinking pick. Of. Yeah, okay. I'm thinking, for whatever reason, I was thinking Christian Barmore, who's already on the Patriots. You're thinking Darrisaw. Yeah, I wouldn't give up my left tackle. I'll give you 11, 23 in first rounds next year. Right. If you want to take that.
That's 3 first-round picks. Wow.
Okay.
Is that
okay?
Oh, is that
it's for
really
a quarterback?
What it's gonna take, boys? You think?
It's for a quarterback. Okay, so now you
see the Niners deal to move up.
How do we want to do this? Do you want to get 11 and 23 for the Patriots, and I take number 3 right here, or do you want to draft for?
Yeah, why don't we just do that? If that's cool.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. Fine by me. Yeah, I'm not even gonna think about it too much. I'm gonna just go get the guy, the next quarterback off the board, which is Jaden Daniels. For the Minnesota Vikings. Some people think it's J.J. McCarthy, but I have a gap between Caleb Williams is by himself up there, and then the other 2 guys, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, are in their tier, and then it's another gap, and then it's those next guys, for me at least. So, number 4 overall pick, my guy Mike, you're back up on the board with the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, you know, I know that there's a lot of talk about this team potentially trading back. I just don't understand I mean, unless you get something absolutely absurd for a team that's desperate for JJ McCarthy or something like that. I don't really get it. I think if you're the Arizona Cardinals, I mean, I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is the absolute home run, slam dunk sort of pick. This is a team that needs weapons on the perimeter. He's such a great route runner. He's great at catching 50-50 balls. Now, his release, his burst is not exactly where you want it to be, but he's just so talented. He's so nifty. I think he's clear cut. Listen, he's my number 1 overall player. I love him. So I think it's clear cut. Marvin Harrison Jr. to the Cardinals here.
Yeah, Marvin Harrison Jr. is the best player I've scouted in, I think, for as long as I've been doing it, honestly. And there was a tweet that was going around talking about, would you rather CeeDee Lamb or Marvin Harrison Jr. for the next so many years? And everybody was like, CeeDee Lamb's proven, blah, 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 blah. But,
right.
I mean, you're talking Marvin Harrison on a rookie deal. CeeDee he's going to be getting paid. Yeah. CeeDee is very good. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not trying to get rid of him. I'm just saying Marvin Harrison is very good. Like, he's going to be an all-pro one day. Like,
he's the best receiver in the draft that I've seen since Jamar Chase. Like he's just
better. He's better than Chase.
I mean, I'd have to really look at it, but yeah, it's really close. I think between those 2, but Marvin Harrison might have him beat. Yeah.
All right, number 5 with the Chargers. Now I'm going to throw this out here. As the Chargers organization, I'm their GM right now. I want to trade back. Does anybody want to come up of you 2, or do I need to try to trade with myself here?
I'll take Denver from 12.
Denver? Okay.
I'm curious if Denver has the ammunition to do that. That's interesting, yeah. Because Denver has no pick. They have no second-round pick, yeah.
Well, wait, hold on. I'm sorry. I'm 11. Maybe that's...
No, you're 12, Tim. You're 12.
Well, no, because I'm paid. So what, am I going back-to-back then?
Yeah, you're going to go back-to-back.
Right. All right.
12. Here's the thing. I'll trade out of this for 12, a 2 next year, and 76. Now, that's a lot to ask, but you're moving up 7 spots, and you're going to go get a quarterback.
Yeah. Well, that's the game. That's the game plan. That's, with
Let's look at who's right behind the Raiders. Raiders could possibly come up for a quarterback. Whose pick is the Raiders, Mike?
Is that you, Mike?
The Raiders is 13. 13 is the right. It's mine.
It's yours. Would you be interested in coming up for a quarterback?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Again, I guess it depends on what head I'm playing, because I'm sure the Raiders would probably be interested. I'm not as high on JJ McCarthy as most people.
Yeah.
So I'll pass.
Don't forget too. It's the Raiders, AFC West, Chargers, AFC West. Is that right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you got to keep that in mind too.
Oh shit, I'm Denver. I just thought of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. With the chart. Well, I mean, it's not impossible. That's
not impossible, but like at the same time,
if the package is good enough, they would do it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and pull some rank here. I'm gonna get the best pure tackle in the draft. Super athletic guy, can get out in the run game. Just absolutely put people on their butts. A solid pass pro. He comes from an NFL bloodline. His dad was a longtime NFL player as well. I'm just going to go with Joe Alt, not even think about it. Get nasty in the trenches. I know that they traded away Keenan Allen, but you're talking about bringing in a guy that, as your new head coach, that loves to get big, nasty guys in the center, in the trenches, and just play hard-nosed ball, run it down people's throats. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the tackle there, Joe Alt, and that brings up the Giants at 6.
You know who's pissed about that pick is Tennessee. Tennessee, I think, is really looking for tackle. They're really hoping that Joe Alt falls to their pick.
Yeah.
Yep. I can see that.
100%.
Who has the Giants pick?
Tim, you're the Giants, buddy.
So on the Giants, to make my first draft selection of the night, because I made a trade with the Pats.
It's true.
There you go.
Again, as much as I was a huge fan of Daniel Jones coming from Duke, because I was like, this kid is going to be elite,
and spicy.
Like, he was good at Duke. Really enjoyed what he did there and how he made Duke like an actual football program. And then he went to the Giants and just absolutely shat the bed. Like, it was wild to see just the fall from grace. And he went to so many Peyton Manning camps. And I remember like that being like such a huge story. But now I think the time is done. I think Daniel Jones' era in New York is coming to a screeching halt. So I'm going JJ McCarthy.
Boom. Lock it in. A guy that just, in one of the games, he literally attempted 6 passes. Not completed, attempted.
Well, wait, hold on. McCarthy?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I know that. But again, like it's so funny because people bring that up all the time. And listen, I get it. It's 6 passes, but Mac Jones won a game on 3 pass attempts in the NFL.
No, I'm not hating on the pick. Yeah. I completely agree with what you're going with. It's just crazy, like how little we've seen on tape of JJ McCarthy. But he's a toolsy guy, a toolsy guy.
That game against Bama in the semifinal, though, that final drive to tie up the game, that said a lot to me.
He has sneaky athleticism too. So, this is my pick with the Titans right here. I believe
it's mine. It
is? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, you got the Falcon. You have the next pick, but this is tough because, like I said, I was kind of hoping that Joe Alt would fall to me. Listen, I'm really kind of deciding here because they could go in this situation in 2 different directions. I love Olu Fashanu as a prospect. I think he's well underrated as a tackle prospect. Joe Alt, I think, is the top tackle in the draft, but I don't think that Fashanu is that far behind him. I think he's a really, really good player.
The thing with Olu is he's not great in the run department, and he has like baby hands, like very small hands. I'm dead serious. Like it's unheard of, especially for how lengthy he is. It's just
he's got 8.5-inch hands, which is I understand all that. I don't know. I love the way that he plays. I just do.
Yeah.
I don't think he really did anything this season to really disappoint. I'm between him and Malik Neighbors here. Because again, the Titans could use weapons. You know what?
Dude,
Yeah,
Quinn,
I'm gonna take Malik Neighbors here. I think at this point, wide receiver is becoming more and more important in today's NFL. I think Malik Neighbors is a very versatile wide receiver. He's got a ton of big playability, a really good route runner, super physical player. I mean, he really could be the best contested ball catcher in the entire draft. So I think if you gave him, you got to keep this in mind too. Give Will Levis like a guy with as big of an arm as Will Levis, a guy that can just chuck and duck with the football. I mean, I think Malik Neighbors could really benefit from that offense, and Will Levis could really benefit from a player like this. So I'll take Malik Neighbors. I was hoping for Joe Alt, but Malik Neighbors is not a terrible consolation prize for me.
solid pick. I mean, I think that you're building a really, really decent little wide receiver group there in Tennessee with that pick.
Yeah, with Burks too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Traylon Burks. They still have D Hop.
Right.
Then you add Malik Neighbors as well. So with the Falcons though, I think a lot of people want to give them an edge player.
Yeah.
I think that the first defensive player off of the board is going to be Quinyon Mitchell, small school guy, Toledo, but just tested crazy, can play zone, can play man. He's a ball hawk on the outside. I think you pair him with the cornerback they already have there in Atlanta, and you've got one of the best duos in the league, in my opinion. And I think that it's one of those things. I don't really love this edge class as a whole. No. And so if you're going to reach there, you're probably going to pick one of these smaller guys like Latu. Obviously, he isn't small, but he's not torqued up and fast and crazy.
Yeah, right.
Then you got Dallas Turner, who's a little bit, lighter, but he's one of those guys. You got Chop Robinson a little bit later down. Those are the guys you're kind of looking at. And I don't know that, like, Atlanta loves those smaller guys. I know that they had Vic Beasley for a while, but think of like Abram there for so long. That was one of those bigger guys on the edge. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go Quinyon Mitchell.
Yeah, Quinyon Mitchell is really. I mean, have you seen? And maybe there are, but this is a guy that I think at the beginning of the draft process was a late first, early second round kind of guy.
Yeah,
and he shot up to the point where, I mean, like you just said, he's getting picked in the top 8, top 10.
Yeah, his rise was.
They love these little corners, man. They really do.
Mm-hmm. His rise was all about him proving that he was the best player at the Senior Bowl. Athleticism wise, like he pops off the film. Like you can tell that he's the best player on the field every single time. And he's a guy that he's a workout warrior too. Like he has some crazy testing numbers, working out as well. So I think that that's completely warranted, and I would not be surprised if he's the first defensive player off the board. Yeah. Number 9 here for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, Timmy.
And you've got to be staring there at Rome, don't you?
You know what? I am, but I also have 4 picks in the entire draft.
Oh, he wants to trade back.
Well, I'm wondering if somebody wants to come up.
Timmy, you could really unfairly play the game here, because I know I've heard a lot that the Colts want to get in front of the Jets for Brock Bowers. Like I've heard that a lot. So that's something that I could see as a possibility, is the Colts trying to get in front of the Jets.
I think they would be going up for Rome, though, no? They need a wide receiver more than...
They could. I mean, I don't really know. Any sort of pass catcher, I think that the Colts are eager to get. So it depends on really who you like more. If you like Bowers, they're 2 different positions, obviously, but if you like Bowers as a pass catcher rather than Rome Odunze, then it depends on what they prefer, really. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But if they get to this point, and Bowers and they like Odunze more than Bowers, then I don't know that they trade up unless they're afraid that Chicago takes them themselves. So it's a very, logistical sort of deal. I think.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, at the same time, too, I think that's probably, if this falls the way it has, that I wouldn't be surprised if Indy absolutely moves up, especially with Odunze and Bowers available at 9. But you know what? Again, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, this is a 2-round draft. Like, like let's just,
Oh, they could get their second rounder. You know what I mean?
Could. Yeah. The more
I mean,
think
we can
about
look at it real quick.
Let's see. Yeah, let's see what Indy has just for a quick second.
1546. You could get
1546 for 9.
Yeah.
Would you do maybe 9 and like next year's 4th or something?
I mean, it doesn't really matter for our scenario, but
for our scenario, of course not. But yeah.
But you know what? I think for this case, I think it would be great to give. I mean, he's already going to have Caleb Williams. Already going to have DJ Moore. He's already going to have
Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
But Keenan Allen's definitely on the downfall of his career. Not saying that he sucks, but it's going downhill. Come on, let's be honest here.
I love Tim, man. I'm not saying he sucks, but
I'm not saying he sucks, but like he's
Rome
in the latter half his career.
Rome kind of comps similar to Keenan Allen. He's one of the best route runners. He's a big dude though that can still play outside. Contested catch wise, he's good. He'll just go up and get it, just throw it up to him. He really does comp well. Obviously not like a super athlete, neither is Keenan Allen. Like they just crafty, they know how to get open and work in space.
If you can run that route, then you can beat any corner in the league. Like that's the thing. I've always believed in that. But yeah, give me Rome. I mean, let's do Caleb Williams, his guy.
All right, to the Jets right here with Mike.
Yeah. So I know that Brock Bowers is the popular option here for the Jets, and I know that they talk really highly of him. I just have a really big suspicion here, fellas, that they're going to go O-line. Like I just have this feeling that they're going to go O-line. So I'm going to kind of throw a wrench in the works a little bit. I'm going to take Taliesin Fuaga. Like I think that's their guy. So listen, as much as they've talked about Brock Bowers, I think earlier on in the process, they were talking a lot about Taliesin Fuaga because, listen, as far as size, hands, length, he plays with a mean streak. He's a phenomenal run blocker. He's one of these more unpolished players, right? His footwork isn't 100% there, but you got to keep this in mind too. This is not even really a now pick because if they're going to be locking up tackles with Morgan Moses and Tyron Smith, then he might not even play this year anyway. This seems like a very Joe Douglas kind of pick. So say again?
I said I think they'd kick him into guard, and then when one of those guys go down, he'd slide over.
That's definitely possible too. So I think Fuaga right there, that just feels like a very Joe Douglas kind of pick for the Jets. So I'm going to take Fuaga for the Jets.
My guy Bot G Eric said, hey, if Aaron Rodgers wants Bowers, they're getting him Bowers. So so you know.
You're not wrong.
I'm not eliminating the possibility of Bowers. I'm just saying that from everything that I've seen, the Jets, I think, are going to be really tempted to be secure and go O-line.
What's more important? What's more important to Rodgers, keeping him upright or having another guy to catch a pass?
Mm-hmm.
Right. All right. Tim, you're back up, buddy.
I'm back up. And at this stage, if it wasn't for the reports of possibly Oakland, then I would have absolutely gone with an O-line or a receiver here.
What positions are you looking for? Wide receiver?
But I'm looking. Nope. I'm
Okay.
not. I'm saying normally I would have. Normally I would have probably gone with Fatano out of Washington, but I am looking at quarterback. I'm gonna get him now. Get it done with. Get it over with. I am taking Michael Penix, who, in my opinion, is the best pure passer in this draft. I want to
at 11.
I want to get it done with, get it over with.
Yeah.
We got our guy. I don't get me wrong. I understand his injury history. There was a report that just came out recently that Some are saying that his knee is not as bad as people think.
Okay.
So I just want to get it over with because I don't want Denver and especially Oakland to, take him. And you know what? I can get whatever I can get at 23.
My thing with Penix, and I like him, I really do, is, and you can say this about most quarterbacks, but I think it affects him a little bit more because he doesn't trust rolling out of the pocket and going, as much as he used to. But when you can pressure him, he's a different guy, and not in a good way. So, his deep ball accuracy, his touch, just the best. He throws the prettiest ball in this draft, just like tight spiral, sails it like really nice. So,
he's got a killer arm, this kid. He really does.
I don't hate the pick. It would be crazy on draft night. And for me as a viewer, I hope this is the scenario.
Yeah. Listen, I wouldn't rule it out as a possibility either that if New England doesn't trade out of 3, that Minnesota doesn't do the same thing. Like I would not rule that out entirely if Minnesota is just like, you know what? We're quarterback desperate. They really like Penix. They really like Bo Nix. They'll just shoot their shot and go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And listen, like I big fan of Michael Penix, obviously. And at the end of the day, like you're right. He doesn't trust rolling out as much anymore. He doesn't, run as much as he did at Indiana. Mm-hmm. And the one thing, though, I will say, at the end of the day, I don't care what your thoughts are, or actually care what your thoughts are, but what I'm trying to say is, at the end of the day, the Super Bowl champion is more of a pocket passer than a guy who runs. Listen, Pat Mahomes, for all his running ability and everything like that, the kid is a pocket passer. That's like it's so funny because everyone's like, oh, we got to get more mobile at quarterback. But look who's winning Super Bowls. It's the guy in the pocket, the guy who wants to throw first, then run.
I will agree with that, but he also is like very, very good at extending plays.
Of course. I'm not saying that you can't extend plays. That's not what I'm trying to imply. The passing aspect is so big. Being able to sit in that pocket, take a beating, and get rid of the ball is, very underrated in today's NFL, even though it keeps winning and winning every single time.
Right.
Yeah. Shout out to another show on the Grid Network. Crack 'em if you got 'em. For my boys at Cowboys Can Fan podcast. I think you're straight back up, Tim, back to back with this one.
Yeah, you got Denver here, Timmy.
Back to back. Denver is so interesting right now because after their fiasco with Russell Wilson, I think Sean Payton is just gonna go out of the box. I would actually, I'm gonna go with Bo Nix.
Sniped him.
Wow. That's crazy.
How many quarterbacks is that? That's 5 quarterbacks.
That's
5.
6. That's 6 quarterbacks.
No, I think that's only 5.
1, 2,
3,
4. Yeah,
4,
that's
5.
6. Yeah.
No, that's 5. Oh, McCarthy. Oh my gosh, dude.
I think Bo Nix will be exciting with Sean Payton, but only with.
Yeah, we got to find a way to get Spencer Rattler in this first round.
I hate Spencer Rattler.
It's too good, man.
All right, Mike. Mike is up right here. I like the fit with Bo Nix, though, honestly. He's just one of those guys that you put him in a system, just allow him to work and be on time with his passes. That fits with the Sean Payton system. So,
this is interesting here because, I think the Raiders want to go corner. I think they want to go corner. If it just from a pure feeling, yeah. Give me Terry and Arnold.
You made the right pick because they're never drafting a white boy at corner. As athletic as Cooper DeJean
the Raiders
is,
would be the team that does it, though. They would.
No, I don't. They pick super athletic people that should go way earlier. Terry and Arnold is athletic, not super athletic, but I just don't think that they would trust that.
I would.
They're a little. The Raiders were like listen to this. Raiders, race it. Raiders, race it. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
Easy.
Look, he's. I think the big reason I'm making this pick here is because as far as like physicality is concerned,
Yes,
when it
he
comes
is.
to corners, Terrion Arnold is a vicious tackler. Like
Yeah.
he's a really physical player for a guy who's not big. I mean, he's like 6. What is he like?
Yeah,
6
he's
foot,
smaller.
190. Like he's not
He's not
an unbelievably big guy.
6'0",
So
196.
I think they go corner here. Listen, I think we're using PFF. I think PFF has Cooper DeJean a little bit, has him rated higher than I think most teams would have him rated. But I think most teams look at Terrion Arnold and Quinyon Mitchell as
1-2,
CB1
1A,
and CB1, right? CB1A,
1A, 1B.
So I think the Raiders go Terrion Arnold. If Mitchell's off the board, they'll go Terrion Arnold.
Terrion Arnold is for my money. I really love Quinyon Mitchell. He's my number 1 corner, but he has one of the best traits for a corner, which is the click and close trait.
Yeah,
and he is an exceptional tackler as a corner. So whenever I think about that as a guy that can really click and close on little screen plays underneath stuff, he's that dog, and he brings the physicality, like Mike said. Next up with the Saints,
that's you.
Excuse me. The Saints need quarterback, wide receiver, tackle, D-line. I think that there's been some reports about Ramczyk possibly not even being able to play at all this season.
Yeah.
So not tight end. I'm looking at tackle for them, and Olu Fashanu's there. Trey Fatanu is there. J.C. Latham. I think I'm just gonna, and it breaks my heart because I really love this player, but I'm gonna go with Troy Fontenot. Or Fatanu, I think is how I need to get used to saying Fatanu because that's how he says it. But yeah, the kid out of Washington could probably play guard inside, but he's just what you want for a player as you know, a guy on an island. Just has exceptional hands, has the footwork to get out quick in the in the kick steps.
Yeah.
He's more aggressive for a tackle. Like usually you like to see your tackles be patient and not engage first, because then that allows the defender to knock down your arms or whatever and swim and swipe.
Right.
But he's kind of an aggressive tackle. He kind of flips it on its head a little bit sometimes, and I kind of like that because he is so technically sound and he has a good ability to reposture and get back into the place he's supposed to. So
yeah, he's pretty versatile too. I think you could play him all over the offensive line. I think you could kick him into guard if you really wanted to. Also, he's a really versatile player.
I agree. Colts next up. They're another team that really likes those athletic guys. So wide receiver right here is definitely
don't even bother. Don't even bother. You got Brock Bowers sitting right there.
All right.
I mean, that's too easy. The one thing I will say about Brock that surprised me is last year, not this past season, the season before, Brock was so dominant. Like really, he's coming out season. It was 2 years ago.
He had some injuries this year. Yep.
Yeah, he had some injuries, but like I swear, when I saw him at
Georgia,
I know Georgia, but I'm saying when I saw him in street clothes, I couldn't believe how like tiny he was. Like I thought he was like a big dude that could run, but no, he was pretty tiny in street clothes. I was like, damn.
Yeah, he's not really one of those tight ends that work in line as much. Like he's more of that kind of like slot tight end.
Yeah, he's more that wide.
But what he does though, I mean, he is just dynamic after the catch. That's where he's truly 100%. Special. He has wiggle. He has athleticism. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, he just has that ability to catch it over the middle and then instantly get extra yards, 5, 7. I mean, he's taken some to the house, like literally 30 yards after the catch. So just such a versatile player. Like he's kind of like just a bigger wide receiver. That's really what he is. So
exactly.
Great pick for the Colts.
It's going to be electric.
I think it's who they want too. Like if Brock Bowers falls to 15, I think the Indianapolis is going to be throwing a party. Like they really want this kid too.
Our guy Bryson Carver says, Georgia ran in the rounds with Brock Bowers. Kid is an insane athlete. So
it's electric.
Who is this, Mike?
Yeah, this is me with the Seahawks. So I no doubt think that this is going to be D-line. I just don't know where on the D-line. I think I'm kind of between two because I'm surprised that Dallas Turner is still on the board.
Okay.
But I've also heard that teams really, really, really love Byron Murphy. So
Yeah.
I'm going to take a shot here. I'm going to take Byron Murphy. This is one of those guys where, like, this is, I think, your, like, prototypical, like, 3-tech sort of defensive tackle where you can swim him in, you can kind of play him in a bunch of different ways, really explosive, plays with a ton of high motor. Like, I think he's he's an experienced player. I really like Byron Murphy here. I think this is a chance where, like, one of the things that I've heard is, like, this is Byron Murphy's floor. Like, there's no way that Byron Murphy gets past the Seahawks at 16. I think his stock is climbing. I'll take Byron Murphy here.
Yeah. I mean, Byron Murphy is one of those dudes that is just continually getting better and better the more you watch the tape, like the further on in the season. I'll pull this up. This is my little scouting report of him. He can play 0, which means straight up above the center. Can play 1-tech 3, even some 4-eye, which means that he's on the inside shoulder of the offensive tackle. So incredibly versatile, rare explosiveness. He's really good in the run department, but PFF has him as their highest rated pass rushing interior defensive lineman. Extremely fast off the snap, relentless motor. He'll go down to his knee and just take on double teams and just push them. Like, it's crazy, his power, and he's a little bit undersized, but man, I really, really like Byron Murphy. He's just a straight dog. So love that pick right there. For me, Brian Robinson Jr. right here for the Jags is incredibly enticing. They need DB though too. Cooper DeJean could possibly be their guy. Edge rushers as well. Dallas Turner. I can't remember the edge they took with the first overall pick not too long ago.
Trayvon Walker.
Yeah, Walker. Yep.
Yeah.
Who's another? Yeah, he's another just athletic guy. Just blew up the combine. But yeah, they need interior O-line. Like, I think that they're gonna look at J.C. Latham right here and think he's a monster in line. Yes, he's listed as a tackle and a right tackle at that, but you throw him in there at guard and he is going to eat souls. Just a dude that has power, has that anchor, drives in the run game, likes to put people on their back. Excuse me. He's just one of those dudes that is a straight dog. So J.C. Latham here to the Jags, with the intention of moving him in at guard.
Yeah, it's interesting. J.C. Latham, he's a big dude. J.C. Latham can really, but he can move for a big dude. Like, this is not one of these guys that's a statue. I think this is a good pick here. I'm surprised you went O-line. It's not a bad pick at all. But I was thinking, for as long as I've been thinking about the Jaguars draft process, I've been thinking anything on the perimeter, corner, receiver, any of these guys, right? But I mean, listen, if you can keep finding ways to protect Trevor Lawrence, then it doesn't hurt him, right?
Yeah.
This is you, Tim, with the Bengals here.
Well, I'm thinking about it because Cincinnati, we all know, needs to protect Joe Burrow at all costs.
Right.
And obviously with Shanu being on the board, that looks pretty enticing. The other thing is, too, they have such great DNs, edge guys, but their D tackles, I mean, they lost
DJ Reader.
Yeah, they lost DJ Reader. They could take Jerzon Newton, and
he's a dog. He's amongst my favorite. Like, he's a pet cat of mine.
Yeah, sure up that pick there. You know, the D line. You know, my philosophy has always been when it comes to football is you basically have to build from the inside out. You know, a phenomenal O-line can make an average quarterback and receivers look great. A phenomenal D-line can make average corners look great.
And you also think, like, Joe Burrow, for all he's worth, like, he's a great quarterback, but when they made that Super Bowl run, it wasn't because of Joe Burrow. It was because of that defense. Right. And a lot of people forget that. So you build that defense with the intention of trying to rebuild what got you to the Super Bowl, and maybe you are cooking with gas because we've seen it time and time again. The Bengals, yes, we come in every single draft cycle. We're like, they need offensive line, and they never go O-line first round. I don't know why,
They never do.
but it's one of those things.
Yeah. I mean, does it change this year though? Do you think because
of the player that's there?
Joe Burrow's, if this is Joe Burrow's second serious injury, like, are they saying, all right, like, look, and it wasn't necessarily the O-line's fault that he got hurt, but at the same time, it's like,
yeah, it was.
We can't risk this anymore.
Yeah,
like,
we got to make sure.
Plays a factor or no?
I think it does. I mean, you got to say, like, first of all, we all know Cincinnati and their ownership are just super cheap in the worst way possible. And yet they've never protected any of their quarterbacks ever.
Right.
From Carson Palmer, Joe Burrow. I'm forgetting the
Dalton.
Andy Dalton, thank you.
Dalton, right.
They always want to go. They want to be like friggin' Indy was in Irsay and just be like, get me the flash guy. Get me the flash guy. I don't care about the line. And look what happened to Andrew Luck.
Ooh,
but
hey, do you possibly go wide receiver with the intention of trading back up in the draft and trading T. Higgins for a draft pick, though?
That's not a bad thought.
I mean, we're getting crazy here, but
we're getting crazy. Well, you know what?
Okay.
At this point, I think let's keep it going. Let's take the D tackle, Jazon Newton, and not even and tell Joe Burrow to go
right
screw,
before the
basically.
Rams, man.
Jeez Louise.
All right, we're gonna go ahead.
Let's do it.
I like
Johnny
that though.
Newton, imagine that defensive line now, though. Like, you add Johnny Newton to a defensive line with Hubbard and Hutchinson.
Hendrickson.
Hendrickson. I'm sorry. Yeah. Why I was thinking of Aiden Hutchinson. My bad.
Yeah.
But yes, but with Hendrickson, Hubbard, and now you add Newton into the middle of that. I mean, that could be pretty
nasty.
Serious.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, who has the Rams?
Me. That's me.
There you go.
I am stunned. Look, is there a team in the NFL at this current moment that needs edge rushers more than the Rams do? Because I don't think there is. This
Probably
is a team
not,
that is hurting for edge rushers. So give me Dallas Turner. I mean, I like I said, I'm stunned that this guy is still on the board. I think at this point, he's the clear-cut best. edge rusher in the draft.
There were some people that thought he was better than Anderson last year. I mean, truthfully, on that Alabama line. So
yeah, I mean, Will Anderson, I think was a different beast. But I mean, listen, Dallas Turner definitely put people in their place, right? He's a super explosive guy. He's one of these guys that's like super, like, he can just finesse you, right? Like, he's super maneuver. He can bend. He's got this quick twitch sort of ability. Like, he's not the biggest guy, but like neither was Aaron Donald. You know what I mean? Like these are the kind of things that you kind of need to think about too. So look, Dallas Turner to the Rams. If the Rams get Dallas Turner at 19, again, I think this is another party being thrown in Los Angeles. I think it is.
Yeah. I'm not even going to think about this pick, honestly. Just keep the hometown kid right there, Olu Fashanu, in Pennsylvania, there in Pittsburgh, and you're having a party with this pick too. I think if you get this type of a talented player there at 20. With the Dolphins right here, Tim, you're back up on the clock. Do you want to look down the board or anything, or?
You know what? Actually, let me look. So, all right, Miami needs tight end. Like, a part of me wants to take Cooper DeJean just to send him to Miami because I think that would be absolutely hilarious. A white DB going against Tyreek Hill in practice every day.
It'd probably save him. That actually probably takes him from just a regular dude to maybe a Hall of Famer because he doesn't have to go against Tyreek Hill.
Probably true.
But Miami, like they again, another team that struggles on the O line.
I mean, they let Howard go, I believe. this offseason. So
Yeah, right.
I believe they do need DB, even though it's not as a need up there.
Yeah, they signed Kendall Fuller.
Oh, okay, they did.
They signed Kendall Fuller, but again, look, corner is one of those positions where, like, if you're not 4 deep at that position, then you're thin. Like, you really need to have corners there.
I'll say this: Cooper DeJean he can play special teams too, and now that facet of the game has been brought back in. He's an excellent tackler. He might be the best tackler of the DB group. He can be, he can have some versatility too. Like, if you do feel good about Kendall Fuller, maybe you pair him up with in your safety group. Like, he could play safety. He has that versatility too. So.
I just pulled up it's funny because I just pulled up Miami's depth chart, and they don't even have Kendall Fuller on the depth chart yet. Literally, the only DBs they have, corners they have, Jalen Ramsey, Kader Coho, Cam Smith. Like, they have nobody. But you know what? Screw it. Let's just do it. Let's have some fun with this. Cooper DeJean, take the best player on the board.
I like it. The Eagles right here. I'm a Cowboys fan, so I'm going to sabotage them. We're going to go kicker here. No, I
Stick to your guns. Come on.
We're going to go Will Reichert.
I'm going to tell you this. Realistically, and this might shock some people, I would not be surprised if Brown is traded on draft night. Do not let that surprise you if it does happen.
Bring him right here, baby. Right here. Let's
go. There you go.
I will make that draft. I'll make that trade right now.
Realistically, I think that you sniped the Eagles pick. Nate Wiggins here's the thing. Nate Wiggins is very fast. He's very athletic. He has that click and close ability, kind of a gambler, a little bit like a Trey Diggs.
Right.
But he's so skinny. And thinking with the Eagles front office, they like the gritty dudes. I think they're going to go with another SEC kid, Kool-Aid McKinstry on the outside. They're going to, I think it's just the match that you're probably going to see. I know they usually go interior in the trenches and stuff like that. But I know they got rid of Reddick, but they have the backup there. They picked Nolan Smith last year. Their D tackles are solid. Obviously they got Jalen Carter, they got Davis. Offensive line, they're solid. Yes, they probably need a center, but they feel like they have that guy in-house. I just think that they have too much need on the outside. So Kool-Aid McKinstry, a guy that's just a physical guy. He's smart. Like, he started really early in the Alabama career. And I think that he's going to fit into that group and get on the field really early and learn behind Slay some.
Yeah, I was like, for a while, I was thinking about, and I don't really think this way anymore, but for a while, I was really thinking, once Jason Kelce retired, I was really thinking, like, do not be surprised if the Eagles take Jackson Powers Johnson. Like, do not be surprised if they do that. Even if it was somebody like Graham Barton, like, don't be surprised if they take one of those interior offensive linemen and try to just beef up the inside, make up for it. But they were, I mean, EJ, you remember this too. I mean, you're a Cowboy guy just like I am. Their defensive backfield was
horrible,
atrocious last year.
Horrendous.
Atrocious.
All of the synonyms, all of them.
Throw it all out there. And listen, I think, like, I'll defer to you on this. Why do you think that Kool-Aid McKinstry has fallen in the draft process, do you think?
I think that realistically, you were watching tape of Kool-Aid McKinstry and you saw Terrion Arnold on the other side and you were like, oh, that guy looks better. And he did. Like, I don't think that you can argue that.
No, you can't. You're right.
Kool-Aid McKinstry also had a bad game against Texas. Like, A.D. Mitchell just posterized him, just killed him all game. Not the greatest game against LSU, and obviously they have talented wide receivers there at LSU. But McKinstry, he's one of those guys, though. I don't think he gets phased. I think he's been playing corner for a long time. He's one of those guys that knows what to do, stay on their keys. He's a guy, realistically, I think could have an arc sort of like a Stephon Gilmore. And where he comes in, it takes him a little bit of time to get going. But once he does, he just trusts the process so much that he's a really good player and amongst one of the best in the league for a long time. And then you see him sticking around for a long time just because he's so technically sound. I think the Kool-Aid's kind of like that. Tim, back up with the Patriots here, buddy. And Latu seems like a very Patriots pick. I would be interested in that, but I know they have so many needs for that team. So
yeah, I you know what, this is like the problem, and that's part of the reason why I traded out of 3 to get 11 and 23, because there are just too many needs. And you know what, I heard recently, like a lot of New England guys are, trying to poo-poo the trade back because, like, in order to accumulate more draft capital, because, well, you have to hit on the pick.
Yeah.
Like, well, you also have to hit on number 3, and you only have 3 and then 34. So why not give yourself more opportunities to, I don't know, get a Michael Penix, get a wide receiver or a tackle, and, there you go. You have now more capital to figure it all out, right? So as much as I would love to sit here and take Latu to help New England's defense, because I like Judon, but I think he tailors off at the end of every single season. Once November hits, right around November, Thanksgiving, he's gone, non-existent anymore.
Yeah, right.
So I would love that, but I also I just want to go receiver, especially with Juju's little antics over the weekend.
Antics, yeah, we'll call it that.
Yeah, we'll call it that. Like, you stupid idiot. So give AD Mitchell.
I loved him, man.
I honestly,
AD Mitchell.
Honestly, I hated getting Juju. I thought it was stupid to pick him over the kid that's out in Oakland now. Sorry, the name's still in my mind, but
oh my God,
Oakland. Who are you talking about?
Yeah, it was. Oh my God.
You mean Vegas?
Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's the air in this room or something like
that. Tim said Oakland. I'm thinking like
Oakland,
players named Oakland. I'm like, Oakland. I'm like, who the heck is Oakland? There's
Newsflash,
very rarely I haven't heard
Vegas
of it.
Now,
yeah. Hey,
okay. Anyways, we're rolling with AD Mitchell or Adonai Mitchell. Anyways, Cowboys pick up here with my guy Mike. We have a whole host of players I would love. I want to hear what you have to say first. Go ahead.
I had a buddy of mine who sent me his mock draft, like, I don't know, 2 hours ago, and said, and he had the Cowboys taking Chop Robinson, and I think I wanted to throw up. Like,
I hate that.
That is like, and EJ, I don't know if you agree, but if the Cowboy, like, edge rusher is about the thing that I want the least right now, especially in a weak
edge class.
Right?
Yeah,
it really is. Like I like Jared Verse a little bit more than I like Latu, but at the same time, like, I don't think either one of them are top flight edge guys. I just don't. Like,
Latu, like, if we picked Latu, you'd have to tell me, like, literally there's no tackles on the board for me to like that pick.
Yeah, I'm thinking, like, tackle, I think, is the obvious choice here. I mean, listen, you're never going to convince me, to not take guys like Brian Thomas or like Xavier Worthy, or like, you're never going to convince me that those guys are bad picks. They're just so electric. But I think right now, the dead home run pick right now has to be Amarius Mims. Like, I think Amarius Mims has to be the guy, because look, this is a guy that I think there are questions about, like, how raw he is as a prospect, how he's not 100% pro ready, but he is. First of all, Amarius Mims is a giant. This guy is massive. And I think
36-inch arms.
Truthfully, and I think he could play. Like, I think he's more versatile than people give him credit for. Obviously, I think he could play both tackle spots. But even if you really did want to kick him inside the guard, which I don't think that if he gets drafted by the Cowboys, they won't do that. But I think he could go right in and play. I don't know.
I would be hesitant to put him at guard strictly because of his injuries with the ankles and stuff. Because you get rolled up a little bit more out inside.
Right.
But Marius Mims, I have a hard time using raw with him because I don't think he is. I think he's technically sound. Like, he's good. Like, I don't think that he has problems with, oh, he has hand problems, or oh, he doesn't connect his top half with his low. Like, I don't see that with him on tape. I just think that there's not enough tape to truly evaluate him
That's
to
what
the
I'm
level you
saying. Is
want
like
to.
he's a fairly inexperienced player. Like
Mhm.
he wasn't in the
Hmm.
Georgia lineup for very long. He's just one of these guys that's a little bit newer to the scene. But I think his upside is crazy. I really do. Like I
Yeah.
think his upside is up there with J.C. Latham and Olu Fashanu. Like I think he's in that same breath, because if you want to talk about like tackle tiers, right? And this is how you know it's draft season, because we're talking about tiers of offensive tackles,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? But like I think Joe Alt is, if you want to consider Joe Alt kind of in a class by himself, that's fine. But the next tier of guys, I think you're talking about Fashanu, you're talking about Fuaga, you're talking about Latham, you're talking about Mims, and then after that you get into the
Patanu.
Jordan Morgans and like those guys. So
I have
Tyler
alt.
Guyton's, so yeah, I think Mims here for the Cowboys. If this is the tackle that we have here, then I think Mims is the guy.
Okay. I like it. No, I'm not even going to think about this pick. I think that Graham Barton is a home run pick for the Green Bay Packers.
Ooh.
Can play any of those interior spots. A lot of people want to push him into center because he's played it, but I think he'd be really good at guard as well. And he just seems like a Packers kind of player. They like to go with offensive line or trench guys anyways. And man, I would like to see that. Athletic player, can get out in the pulled run game. I just can't even question it. If that guy's there for the Packers, they're going to pick him.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay
Yeah,
Bucks.
I think offensive line is without a doubt. Even if they decided to go tackle and they went to go with Tyler Guyton or something like that, I don't think that would be a terrible
Yeah.
decision. I know that Guyton has had his issues, but look, I was looking at your graphics before, EJ, and I
Oh
was just
yeah.
thinking to myself, I'm like, Graham Barton looks like a Cowboy already. Like he just doesn't that look like the guy who the Cowboys would take? He just does.
Yeah. It does. Yeah.
Yep.
He's a good player, though. He's a good player. I know you and I have had a little bit of disagreement about him, but listen, he's no matter where he plays, I think he'll turn out to be fine. It
Mhm.
just depends on how quickly he gets there. I think that's really where I stand on that.
Yeah. Tim with the Bucks right here. Running back, tight end, guard, center, edge, linebacker, cornerback,
Corner.
everything they need apparently.
Everything. Yeah. Well, trust me, I've seen enough of Tampa where I'm like, they need everything, and the fact that they were able to bring back both Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield, I think, is huge for them, because I'm sorry, everybody was talking about how you have to bring back Baker. You got to bring back Baker. I'm like, the only reason why Baker succeeded was because of Mike Evans. If you bring back Baker and not Mike, they were screwed, in my opinion.
I agree.
But one of the biggest issues for them is obviously the D line, the edge. They have nobody there. So if Lautu is somehow falls to them at 26, they should be all over that. And twice on Sunday. I was debating between him and Nate Wiggins, but I'm going Lautu.
Okay. Latu, probably the most technically sound edge rusher. Just his hand tech, his ability to counter. Just a technician. Obviously, he had to transfer from Washington due to some injury concerns, goes to UCLA, been healthy there, and just he's been, I think, the highest graded edge rusher on pass sets for PFF the last 2 years. So really just a clean prospect overall. Arizona Cardinals, again, for my guy Mike, if I can talk right here. Wide receiver, guard, center, D-line, cornerback.
So
we went with Marvin Harrison. Yep.
Yeah, we got Marvin Harrison before. So I think I have a plan here for Arizona. Do I have Arizona in the second? No, I don't. You do, E. But
Okay.
I think you know what? I'm going to take him now. I'm not going to risk trying to get him in the second round. I'm going to take Darius Robinson.
Ooh,
I'm
okay.
going to take Darius Robinson and the reason I'm really doing this is because, like, I think I'm kind of in a position where they really need some versatility on their D-line. Like, this is one of those players that I think can play either on the outside or on the inside. He can play on either side of the shoulder. Physical at the point of attack. He's really, really got an array of weapons that he uses across the D-line. There are times a little bit where I think he plays a little bit too much bully ball, but I mean, he's a really, really good player. And as far as like draft stock is concerned, Darius Robinson has had a very good draft process. I think he's shot up boards quite a bit. So I'll take Darius Robinson for the Cardinals here.
I like it. No, I like you said, he has that versatility inside out. One of those guys that were kind of probably like a 3rd round pick last year, playing inside, but he moved outside and he just won. Like, I don't understand like how he won that much with the kind of speed limitations, but just his bull rush was impressive. He knew how to just get to the ball carrier and had quite a bit of tackles for losses, and I think he had like 9 sacks this past season. So just a guy that really popped off this last year. With the Buffalo Bills, this is no question. If Brian Thomas is here, you pair that with Josh Allen, and it's just fireworks right there. He's a guy that can win over the top easily, but he has that ability to gear down and really sell, the go ball and just sink into those things, those routes at the top end, and just come back with the curls and stuff like that. Can work over the middle. Has a big catch radius. Obviously, wasn't great in contested catch situations, but he's a guy that, like, if he makes it here, you're running to the board. Or, it's too good to pass up.
Yeah, I agree. And I think he ran a 4.33 40 at the combine, and I think he's faster than that. Like, just looking at him, you just see him on tape, and like nobody comes even like he's running past guys like and blowing them away. Like, it's not even close. So, this is for the Bills, especially after they traded Diggs and let Gabe Davis walk, they need receivers more than anything else.
Badly. Yep.
Exactly. And he's a guy like Gabe Davis is one of the underrated blockers in the league.
Yeah.
Brian Thomas fills the role of the deep, wide receiver. He can block pretty well. He's big. He can work all 3 wide receiver positions, can work some out of the slot. Obviously not super nuanced as a route runner, so he's not going to be a Diggs type.
Right.
But I just, if this was the pairing, I would have, if they set the over-under at 800 yards, I would click over easily for this guy.
Yeah, I agree.
With the Lions right here, we got, who would it be, Tim?
I think it's, this is Timmy.
Right. All right, yeah, Detroit.
I think there's a no-brainer pick right here, in my opinion.
What, Jackson Powers?
No. Jared Verse, in my opinion. I think that he fits that tough-nosed mentality. He plays run defense so well. You pair him with Hutchinson, you got 2 big edges that can play powerful in the trenches, and then also give you that versatility as pass rushers as well, and just fits in with that Dan Campbell mindset.
That's honest to God. I actually I think the idea of adding Verse is I think it's legit. If it were me in this spot, I think I'd go for corner. Like that was really, I think, the hole that they had.
My thing though is Wiggins so small. Does he really fit with Detroit?
I understand that, but I also don't think like if you really wanted to go for a corner that wasn't as skinny, like I don't know that Ennis Rakestraw or anything like this is that much of a reach here at the end of the first.
No, he's not. Even TJ Tampa would not be bad.
Yeah, right. I think TJ Tampa ranks a little bit right. I think he's probably a little bit below where Rakestraw is, but again, all right, Timmy, it's your pick. It's not ours.
Come on, guys, really?
Yeah, he's like, seriously, shut up.
No, but you know what? That's the thing too, because EJ, when you were saying that like Verse has that tough nosed mentality, like that's Dan Campbell all day long.
You want to know a sneaky pick right here? If Verse was here, I don't think that they would pass up on it. But a sneaky guy that you guys should pay attention to on draft night for the Detroit Lions, Marshawn Nealon right here. Do not be surprised if this kid goes first round or very early in the second round. And I know there's Adiza Isaac and Jonah Ellis and all these other dudes ahead of him, supposedly on PFF. This guy right here, he's one of those guys that fits in with that kind of mold that Detroit wants to look for.
Yeah.
And just a tough guy, comes in, right type of player, big, can provide you some pass rush. Obviously, didn't really pop off as much throughout his entirety of his career, but this last year, he did some good things, and he creates pressure on the quarterback. Doesn't always get home, but he's the right kind of guy for Detroit. I would not be surprised if that's the pick.
Yeah, no, probably, and especially if Jared Verse is already gone by now. So I mean, with that being said, yeah, just give me Verse. Let's take Jared Verse. Since he's there, best available.
The Baltimore Ravens with Mike. You cannot mess up this pick, Mike, because the Ravens, for whatever reason, they're one of the best drafting teams in the league.
Yeah,
easily.
True. That's true. I mean, here's the thing. I think Baltimore has a couple of different directions they can go. They can go offensive tackle. I know that there's a lot of talk about them going receiver. They love Zay Flowers. They got something at least a little bit out of Rashad Bateman last year. Here's the thing, though. It's like the rest of the receivers on the board, like they could go Xavier Worthy, but he's a lot like Zay Flowers. So I don't.
Lad McConkey's another guy you want to work out of the slot. Troy Franklin, even to that extent, you probably want to work out from the slot. I'll give you a thing. Jackson Powers Johnson, he's not just a center. Like, he played guard for Oregon in the past. He's a guy that you could kick to guard and work him in with your already line group. And obviously you have Linderbaum there, but man, that's just, it would be fun. Or Nate Wiggins. I mean, that's staring you right there too.
Go corner. I mean, I think they, it's kind of funny too, because Baltimore actually kind of likes taking corners early. Mm-hmm. You know what? I'm going to kind of, yeah, this is interesting here. Okay. Give me Tyler Guyton. I'll take Tyler Guyton.
Guyton. Sniped.
I'll take Tyler Guyton. I think here's the thing. I think Tyler Guyton at this point, he's a big physical offensive tackle. Baltimore, I think, is in a position where they are firmly sitting with Ronnie Stanley at left tackle. But even if Stanley gets hurt, first of all, I think you can plug and play Guyton at right tackle. I think that's the first thing. But also, even if Stanley gets hurt, I mean, I don't think it would be too much to move him over, even if you wanted to try that. Listen, adding depth to the offensive line, I think, for Baltimore is a decent decision here. Like I said, I think if somebody like A.D. Mitchell was here, if somebody like Brian Thomas was here, then I think we'd be talking about a different story here. I think they might have gone. I could have gone receiver, but I'll take Tyler Guyton. I think he's the safest at this point.
Okay. I was going to pick him for the 49ers next, so he sniped me right there. But I'm going to go with a different guy for the Niners here. I'm going to go with Jordan Morgan, a guy that's seen a lot of ball, 3 years, starter, had some injury history, but bounced back this past year, and he's a technician out there. He's not going to be a wowing player at that position. Like, he's not super athletic, but just super solid, especially in pass pro.
Right.
Chiefs here for my guy Tim. Super Bowl champs. What are you doing? You got some wide receiver problems. Tony can't catch a ball to save his life. Rashee Rice can't drive a car to save his life, apparently.
Well, he can drive it. He just goes too fast.
Shots fired.
Well, they also just traded their best corner too.
Yeah, they did. Yep.
He's not their best. McDuffie's better than him. Come on. McDuffie's a dog.
Now, gentlemen.
Oh, he's a dog. Yeah, no, I'm not denying that. But I don't know. To me, they were 1A, 1B. So,
okay.
I don't know. I feel like with that,
Nate Wiggins staring you in the face. This is a
He
deep
really
wide
is.
receiver class. I mean,
This is this is a very right.
Like I kind of want to take like the best player available, which would be Nate Wiggins, at least according to PFF. Because they like you said, it's such a deep receiver class. So yeah, let's go Nate Wiggins.
I like the pick. I mean, I really do.
Yeah, me too.
Here we go, Mike, with the Panthers.
I think, thank God, by the way, that the Chiefs didn't take Xavier Worthy. That's what I'm thinking right now.
For the rest of the league.
Do they really need Tyreek Hill 2.0? And I don't know that he's the same kind of player as Tyreek Hill is. I think just top end speed he compares. But
yeah.
All right, Carolina, they need receivers in the worst way. I am sort of I'm kind of moving away. Troy Franklin is interesting to me, but I think Troy Franklin is a little bit more limited as a route runner than he is more as a top end, take the top off a defense kind of threat. Lad McConkey is interesting. One of the other guys that I'm entertaining here is Keon Coleman.
If I had to put my input in here, which I don't, but I will. Lad McConkey reminds me a lot of like an Adam Thielen type, where he just is so crafty, just ability to get open. He catches everything. And he was their best wide receiver for Carolina last year, was Adam Thielen. So he could fit that role and just come in there. Keon, I'm not high on Keon. I'm not. I'll just say that. I'd let somebody else draft him.
I'm going to take a guess at why you're not as high on him. I'm sure it's got something to do with the speed. Like his top end speed is not great.
Not necessarily. I think that he just doesn't separate very great. I think that he's one of those guys that, like, whenever I brought up Brian Thomas and his ability to kind of gear down and stuff like that, I think Keon Coleman, he can get up to speed. It just takes him a little bit longer. I just don't think that he has nuanced ability to really sell his routes at the top and really create that separation with like the head fakes and just turn your shoulders right here and then instantly come back the other way and hard plant and create that separation. I just don't see it. And for all the talk about him being a good contested catch guy, I thought he was kind of weak in contested catch whenever I watched him, at least on the film I watched. Didn't think that he caught the balls through contact all that well. And then when he did get in space and had the ability to run, he was more finessey than I wanted to see for such a big guy. Like I wish that he would put his head down a little bit more and lay a lick on the corners and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. I'm also entertaining kind of doing something else too, because they also have 39. Okay. So they pick in 6 picks from now, and there's plenty of wide receivers on the board.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to shake it up a little bit. I'm going to take Jackson Powers Johnson.
Oh,
I'm going to wrap up this offensive line. This is a team that I think right in the middle of the offensive line, they have a little bit of a need. Ike Mekwonu, I think, is going to be fine at left tackle. I know that he's had his issues. They just signed 2 fresh new guards, 2 new guards with Damian Lewis and Robert Hunt. Taylor Moton at right tackle is a staple. I think you add Jackson Powers Johnson to this mix. And right now you're looking at, I think, a pairing of Bryce Young and Jackson Powers Johnson potentially going into the future for a long, long time. So I'll take JPJ here.
I like that pick. This is me with the Patriots, correct?
Yeah, it is you, unless you'd be courteous enough to give it to Tim and you get
absolutely not. Okay, so he picked AD Mitchell. So I'm not gonna pick Troy Franklin.
Chop?
What do I want to do?
I wouldn't go chop.
Honestly, now that you said something about an edge rusher,
Marshawn Nealon?
I might go Nealon. He's kind of like a Patriots kind of guy. He really is.
Under Belichick.
That's true. You do got Mayo in there now, right?
I love Tim's disclaimer.
So you've already went.
Belichick.
Yeah, that's true. So okay, let's look at tackles real quick and see what we got.
There's nobody.
Kingsley Suamataia.
Kingsley, yeah.
Yeah. Man, do I want to reach for one of those guys though?
I have a feeling that Karan Amagagie is going to go higher than most people think.
The thing about him, I haven't been able to watch him on film because
Yeah.
it's Yale. They don't have a lot of all 22. So the only thing I got to watch was like a Holy Cross like little broadcast view thing of him.
That must have
Um,
been fun.
and yeah, so I mean, it was hard to really tell what he was, about. But
Right.
he does have tools. Like I'll admit that. So it is what it is with him. I'm going to go with. Oh, man, who do I want to go with? I thought that I had somebody for a second. Oh yeah. Tackles. I'm gonna go with a sneaky pick, and you might not like it, Tim, but I'm gonna go with Blake Fisher off the board right here.
Ooh.
Notre Dame opposite side tackle.
I might have to trade up.
He's a guy. Legitimately, he's a guy that is being undervalued right now because of how good Joe Alt was, and he's kind of the same effect what we talking about with Kool-Aid and Terrion. I think the same thing kind of here with Notre Dame, the opposite tackle. Fisher, he's a guy that, for whatever reason, people think isn't athletic or isn't capable of holding his own. I thought on tape he looked great. Pass pro, hand tech, all the things you want to see. I would be perfectly fine if he went second round. This might be a little bit high, but there's no great tackle option here, and I think that he's the most polished out of those other guys. So yeah, Blake Fisher to the Patriots, a little bit of a surprising pick, but we're gonna roll with it.
Yeah, I don't mind. I mean, I don't mind a Notre Dame product, especially on the O line, because for some reason they just seem to pump out O linemen like it's
They
their
sure do.
job. So I mean,
Zach Martin,
yeah,
maybe.
I don't disagree with you. I think it is definitely a little too high for Blake, but again,
didn't you guys pick Cole Strange a couple years ago, like first round?
In the first round, yeah.
That
boy, oh boy. I think I had Cole Strange graded as like a fourth rounder that year, and they took him
in first. Yeah, tell me about it.
Whenever I saw that pick, I was like, "What?"
It reminded me of the second round pick from Belichick back in like 2012.
They must have thought he was Doctor Strange.
Yeah, really. Like Belichick drafted a guy where all the NFL pundits were like flipping through their pages, going, "Who?" Like this isn't 2000. Not Duran Ham, but another guy. Regardless, that's what Cole Strange felt like. So I like it. Arizona.
Let's go up and check out what the other picks they had. So they had Darius Robinson and they had Marvin Harrison Jr.
Mm-hmm. And so they need, let's see.
They need guard, center, defensive line, cornerback.
Yeah.
And yes, they could still go D line. They're not good on the D line.
No. Yeah,
right. But with Zach Frazier sitting there.
Yeah, Zach Frazier is a solid pick.
Yeah. I mean, that would. Let's do that. Zach Frazier. Let's get the West Virginia guy.
I like it.
Send him to the desert.
Chargers back up. Who did they pick?
No, it's Washington.
Joe Alt. Oh,
yeah,
you're right. I don't know why I skipped over that logo because it just disgusts me so much.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So bad. Okay. What are we thinking here? They could use a little bit of help on the edge.
That they could.
Let me see here.
See the edge players?
No, I've got them up right here, but I'm trying to think here because, like, I don't know that they're going to prioritize receiver early. Like, I just don't get that feeling, right? Because you're looking at McLaurin, Dotson. They signed Olamide Zacchaeus, right? Jamison Crowder they still have over there. De'Ami Brown they like. So I don't know that they're going to prioritize receiver. I know that Ladd McConkey and Troy Franklin, Xavier Worthy are all still there. Yeah, you know what? Give me an edge player. I'll take Chop Robinson here.
Okay.
I'll take Chop Robinson here. I think Chop is probably destined to go round one. So you get a late first edge rusher here in the top half of the second round. I think Chop Robinson's a solid value pick here for Washington.
There you go. Yeah, I'm not even gonna think twice about this pick. For me, they got rid of Keenan Allen. You bring in Troy Franklin, and it's very similar with the players. And he can just work outside in. I think that with Justin Herbert, that's a really good pairing for Troy Franklin. I think that if I was Troy Franklin, I'd be super happy about that. Obviously, Harbaugh is going to try to run it a little bit more, but he's a good blocker too. And he's just one of those guys, man. He doesn't need a lot of attempts to really make an impact in the game. The Titans up here next for my guy Tim.
Who do we draft?
First round, they went Malik Neighbors.
You got the wide receiver.
So O-line is a big one here for them. Edge.
There's no real
and
tackles
DB.
left. I mean, unless they go for Sua Mataya, I don't know that.
I think that this is a spot where Sua Mataya could go.
It could, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's bring up tackles. Let's bring interior O-line up there. Christian Haynes, I love that dude. DB will bring in and edge as well.
Well, I was thinking too with Lad McConkey sitting right there, like give him a
double up on receiver.
Double up on him. That would make them really deep because they got D Hop, they got Burks, they got.
Yeah, but how long is D Hop going to be?
Yeah, they got an aging D Hop too. Yeah.
Hey, he had a sneaky good season last year. Truthfully,
oh, he did.
Oh, he did absolutely. But then you shore up the outside, and then you bring in McConkey, who can come in the slot and just run every single route known to man. Like,
hey, it's your pick. Go ahead. Or you could trade back for Brown, get him back in the building from the Eagles.
Imagine that.
Right your wrongs.
God. Yeah, there's no way that'll happen. Yeah, let's just let's go, Lad. Let's just go, Lad. Shore up that receiving core.
All right.
I think Titan fans would actually blow a gasket in a positive way. If you see Malik Neighbors, because Malik Neighbors to me
so dynamic.
He's one of the most exciting players to watch on film.
Mm-hmm.
That dude is just so good. And Lad McConkey, this little shifty little receiver that does everything. I think Titan fans would just go nuts.
Oh, absolutely.
That'd be fun, man.
And then you give Will Levis everybody. It's like, hey,
who has this pick?
That's me, I think. I have Carolina again.
I want this pick, but okay, go ahead. I just think that Peyton Wilson, he just reminds me of Luke Kuechly. Just that player that's just downhill. He can cover well.
You know who he reminds me of, honestly, EJ?
Who?
Peyton Wilson reminds me a lot of Connor Barwin.
Okay.
He's got a little bit of Connor Barwin in him, I think.
Okay. I think that Barwin, I mean, rush to passer better, obviously, but and I think he's bigger too.
Yeah. Barwin, I think, is a little bigger. But I don't think I'm going linebacker.
Okay.
I don't think I'm going linebacker. I had a plan. I was going to take JPJ, and then I was going to take a wide receiver.
Ooh.
So I am going to take Keon Coleman.
All right.
I'm going to take Keon Coleman.
You messed up my plan because I was just about to ask something, but okay.
So, were you gonna trade up?
I was about to say 49 because I think I have the Bengals pick. I was about to pull off the old T. Higgins for pick. I was gonna go crazy.
You should have yelled at me. You should have yelled.
No, it's okay. It's okay. We can still get a good receiver where we're at.
Yeah, and I understand your concerns, by the way, about Keon Coleman. I do think that there's definite ball skills there. I think Carolina is in such need of guys that can simply, and I think you'll understand what I mean when I say this. They need guys that can just simply catch the football, right? Guys that are not going to lead the league in drops, right? Keon Coleman's got good hands. I think this is one of these guys where the separation where, like you said, I think a lot of that has to do with twitchiness, and he doesn't have great top end speed. He's never going to beat you over the top as far as burning you downfield unless he burns you at the line of scrimmage. But I think this is a guy that when he does create separation and when he does get into a winning position, he's going to win that ball fight a lot of times. So I think at this, especially with their collection of receivers, if you want to call it a gamble, you can call it a gamble, but I think Keon Coleman's a good fit for them.
All right. Hey, I'm not going to argue. They need wide receiver help. So
They do.
You're going for a wide receiver. So can't complain much. Washington Commanders desperately need a tight end. I think you're betting on Jatavion Sanders here. So Sanders to the Commanders. Don't call me a rapper. But anyways, no, he's just a super athletic dude. He kind of reminds you of Vernon Davis that was there a couple years ago. And, obviously, he's not a guy that had a lot of production, but you bet on those upsides for tight end because it seems like you just get the biggest, the fastest guys, and somehow they work out in the NFL when they weren't that great in college. It just seems like a good pick for the Commanders.
Yeah. The Packers for Timmy.
The Packers.
Could we see the first safety taken off the board here with Green Bay?
Nubin is a very good player.
Nasty.
Nubin.
Is that who you're gonna go with?
Yeah. I'll go with Nubin. You guys didn't get the reference, did you?
No, I didn't. What?
Caddyshack. Noonan.
Oh God,
Nubin.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't watched that movie in forever. How old is that?
I'm a noob.
Doesn't matter. It's Caddyshack. You should know it.
That doesn't mean I go revisit it every year. Come on now.
I have a prediction for Tyler Nubin in his career. At one point in his career, Tyler Nubin will lead the NFL in interceptions. Like that dude gets the football.
I like that.
That dude gets the football, dude.
I mean, Tyler Nubin could have been a first rounder last year. Like he really could have.
Right.
So he chooses to come back his senior year and just puts on. I mean, he didn't need to put out more tape of him being good, but he did.
Yeah.
Just a dude that he's going to be a solid pro. You already know.
Mm-hmm.
Texans here for Mike.
I'm penciling it in here. This is really easy for me. I'm going to give me Braden Fiske. Give me Braden Fiske.
Oh, he's one of my pet cats, buddy.
I
love him.
This is such a good fit for them. He's so unbelievably athletic as a defensive tackle on the inside.
Off the snap. I will say one thing that I don't love about Fisk is he's not great at wrap up tackles in the backfield. Needs to get better in that area. But I mean, you're learning from one of the best defensive coaches in the NFL.
Yeah, he's playing for a great defensive coach. But they also, you got to keep this in mind too, is that like he's going to be playing behind for the most part, like really seasoned veterans in Houston, right? He's going to be playing behind Danico Autry. He's going to be playing behind Mario Williams, right? Sorry, not Mario Williams.
Mario Williams?
Mario Edwards. My bad.
2002?
Facts.
Mario Edwards. But look, and you've also got Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter coming off the edge. Like, this is one of those, if you add an athletic D lineman that you can just fill gaps with in the inside, I think Braden Fiske could be really, really solid here.
I'm not a big Adiza Isaac guy, but I feel like he would be the pick for the Atlanta Falcons just because he's kind of just one of those guys I don't think he ever has that high upside, but he's just a solid player, you know what I mean? And can give you the run defense, can give you the pass rush. He feels like an Atlanta Falcons pick. Just throw him in there. Yeah. 44 with the Oakland, as Tim would like to say, Raiders.
Yeah, the
Raiders. Like how I still want to call the Washington the Redskins. I mean, come on. The Oakland Raiders, the Washington Redskins, we all know.
Now you just canceled our show, bro.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Way to go, Tim.
No, go ahead, Tim. You want to see who else they picked real quick?
It's Terry and Arnold in the first round.
Yeah. Arnold, there we go.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We're going to stick on the defensive side anyway because it's Peyton Willis. Best player available. They need
Peyton Willis, the running back?
Willis. You know that. No, Wilson. See, look
all
at
right,
that.
Peyton Wilson.
Mario Williams.
I think I'm the only one. I think I'm the only one that hasn't said the wrong name of. No, I did. I said Brian Robinson instead of Brian Thomas earlier.
Yes, you did.
Anyways, as soon as I said it, I was trying to just go with the flow and not even act like I said it. But
Did pretty good
yeah.
at that too.
Anyways, though, pick 45 with Mike Guido for the Saints.
Yeah, the Saints. Troy Fautanu in the first round. Really versatile offensive lineman. Give me Xavier Worthy. I think this is the spot right here. You add him to a receiving core of Chris Olave. They love what they got out of Rashid Shaheed last year. This is just a team that I think needs to get deeper at that position. So give me Xavier Worthy. Record breaker at the combine. This guy is ridiculously fast. Needs to improve as a route runner, but top end speed, he's phenomenal.
You remember when Willie Snead was there at the Saints, and he would catch like one 30-yard pass downfield each week? It seemed like.
Yeah,
that's the floor for Xavier Worthy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that
He's
pick.
one of those
You
guys,
sniped.
honest to God, you need to put him in a position where get him the ball quickly and let him work in open space. He's one of those kind of receivers for me. Because if you try to get him into a scheme where he needs to consistently beat guys off the line, he's not going to do that, right? No. Unless you're constantly putting him in go routes, which you're just not going to do. You have to get this guy in short and intermediate routes where he can get the ball quickly and beat guys in open space. If they do that, then Xavier Worthy's going to be a hell of a player in the NFL.
You sniped me again, though, because I was thinking Colts for Xavier Worthy. But it's okay. It's okay because I'm going with Ricky Pearsall right here.
My guy.
They picked Julius Brents last year as a cornerback. So it's one of those things, man. Yes, they need DB help, but they spent a good, high value pick on a DB last year, and Ricky Pearsall, it just catches everything. Hands he's a solid route runner.
That Jordan catch that he had, did you see that?
Oh yeah, no, that's the best catch this past season. It's just crazy. So Ricky Pearsall, no brainer.
Pair him up with AI, the guy he played with last year,
and Brock Bowers. You got to remember that we picked Brock earlier.
Yeah,
so
Brock, that's right. Well, Brock played at Georgia. So.
Yeah.
Let's see. You know what's funny? When I was at Florida, one of the guys that I was trying to get our coaches to watch was Mike Sanderstill. And
really?
Yep. Okay. They wouldn't watch him. And so that's where I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Sanderstill here. That's my guy. Keep him up, in the Northeast. With
solid
the Giants. Corner.
I
was a big fan of him coming out of high school, obviously. But then, just moving along, I was like, it took him a while at Michigan, but then he finally, found his niche and really, I thought, turned it on, especially this past season.
Just flying up boards.
Right? Jags went J.C. Latham in the first round to put him in there at guard. So center still need edge and DB. I think that there's somebody here that I would pick, but Mike, it is your pick. Who are you thinking, buddy?
I get the feeling that Jacksonville likes SEC guys. They need DB help here, so I'm going to take Kamari Lassiter.
Ooh, Lassiter.
I'm going to take Kamari Lassiter. I think this is a good, solid pick here. This is a team that needs defensive back help, right? I mean, they're trying to get themselves in a position where, they can salvage what they have in their secondary, right? They signed Ronald Darby. They signed Darnell Savage. I think they're going to try Darnell Savage as a nickel corner, but I think just adding depth to this position, adding more true corners into this spot. I was in between Kamari Lassiter and Ennis Rakestraw, but I think that Kamari Lassiter right now is, I don't know. They're very similar prospects to me as far as ranking is concerned, but I think Lassiter here is the pick.
Okay. A guy that didn't have the best testing numbers, but just a guy that he's so smart, so intelligent. He killed the interview process from what I've heard.
Yeah.
And he's a guy that Georgia is one of those premier programs. He started very early for Georgia, and that's just one of those things. Like it's another check. Like if you start at one of these programs early on in your career, it's a plus for you. And
Right.
Lassiter's just he checks that box.
Right.
The Bengals here, this is where they are going to try to get a tackle for Joe Burrow. I'm going to go Kingsley Suamataya, Taya, however you say it. I'm not Samoan. I don't know. But I'm going to go with him, and I think it's one of those picks where you bet on the upside and you get him at 49. You feel really good about that.
Yeah, I agree.
Eagles up on the clock for Tim. You just want me to go to kickers right now, or
Yeah, long snappers, Timmy.
Long snappers. Come on, if you're gonna do it right. Or better, let's go with the Matthew Slater type. Just
you don't want to give them a special teams ace.
Hold on, special teamer
Slater
is what I was trying to say. I love Matthew Slater. I'm not trying to disrespect Slater. It was just I meant the special teamer. That's what I was trying to get at. But not just long snapper. No, with this, actually, I actually want to make a move. I want to try to get New England back up into the second round.
Ooh. Okay.
Okay.
Spice things up late second round.
Yeah.
Let's go, baby.
Let's do it. So, all right.
New England, where are they? Right there, 68. For the Eagles. So we get 50, you get 68, and we give them 103 or something, or what?
Yeah.
I mean, you're jumping 18 spots. That's your best pick you have. So
yeah, no, absolutely. I was trying to read it that it was lopsided. It's like, what do you mean it's lopsided? But no,
good for that? Okay.
Yeah.
New England's back up. And who are we picking?
New England's back on the clock. All right, so we took our tackle. We got our quarterback. We got our receiver. And with this, I want to take another receiver because New England has never drafted.
I don't think we picked a receiver. I picked an edge rusher for you guys.
No, we got A.D. Mitchell. Or Pat's got A.D. Mitchell. I picked him.
Did you?
23. Yeah.
Oh, you did. Who did I pick for you guys again?
Blake.
Okay,
Fisher.
Yeah, Fisher. Okay.
Fisher.
So
Yeah,
you're
you
picking
got
another wide
Mitchell,
receiver, and you're
Fisher.
going who?
I'm going with South Carolina's Xavier Leggett.
Ooh, the country boy.
That's.
I love Xavier Leggett. He lost both of his parents before he even finished high school, and so he's a guy that has been through the ringer really,
adversity,
and it didn't let him fold, and it took him some time to get on the field at South Carolina, but this past year, just so good, over 1,000 yards, great red zone threat as well, caught everything. Better route runner than people give him credit for. Obviously, I think that a lot of people don't understand that most college wide receivers are not running the full route tree anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of these guys are going to have questions about their route tree. But I thought he was better, at the stem, at the point of attack, and top of the routes than people give him credit for.
Absolutely. I'm a big fan of his, especially with his, I can only imagine his accent around Boston.
There you go, man. That's a match made in heaven, honestly. We got the Steelers up now for my guy Mike Guido.
I'm not even thinking about this one. I'm giving me Ennis Rakestraw. I think this is a clear-cut pick. They need to add depth at the corner spot. This is, I think, one of the better man coverage corners in the draft. He doesn't have a ton of ball production. He's not a huge interceptions guy, but he's a really sticky corner that can stay with a man. Like I think this is a really solid corner in this draft. And honestly, it wouldn't stun me if Ennis Rakestraw ended up going late first. I think he's got that kind of ability as a man corner. He's one of these littler corners, but he's a good player.
Yeah. I agree. I like the fit a lot and it just fits that Mike Tomlin system too.
He's not a great tackler. Like he's pretty slight, but as a coverage corner, he's really like he's really twitchy and really reactive. He's a nice player.
Yeah. The Rams, they went with Dallas Turner, first round, I believe.
Yeah.
Back up on the clock. I'm going to go ahead and go down a little bit. I'm gonna pick Junior Colson. National champion, linebacker. I think he got like adopted out of Haiti, lost both of his parents there, comes over here, gets adopted at like 8 years old, doesn't even know English, something like that. And learns it, starts playing football. That's really how he started to really just learn in general, this culture over here in America, but also just English in general. And goes there to Michigan. Played with 2 broken hands in the national championship game. This guy's he's got all the mental makeup that you want, and he's just solid. He's more of a guy that I like and not love, but I just think that he fits with that Rams defense. And obviously, they lost their coach to the Atlanta Falcons for their defensive head coach, but man, it just seems like they want to get better in the middle because they were so poor there last year. And the Eagles for Tim.
Eagles. Yeah, who do we take with Philly before?
So it's Kool-Aid McKinstry, and then you traded back with New England. So
that's it. Okay,
that's it. Correct.
Yeah, I think they definitely we're gonna need DB help.
Again, double dip.
Yeah,
well, actually,
I think it's reasonable that they take a safety.
That's where I was going. I was going more safety. I was thinking of who was just
Bullard.
TJ Bullard. Thank you. Yeah. It's like a Javon Bullard.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. The Browns, man. What do the Browns need? Interior defensive line?
Yeah, this is kind of where
you know what? I'm gonna go with Edgerrin Cooper. I just think that I know I'll snipe people from everybody. For the Cowboys fans, that hurts. But
yeah, no kidding.
Edgerrin Cooper, just a twitched up guy. You can use him in some pass rush, situations, and you allow him to be with Myles Garrett and stuff like that. In those situations, it's just like crazy. You pair him with JOK. He's just a guy that just fits that Browns defense to me, and because they have so many veterans, just savvy players, he can kind of learn a little bit from those guys and just be free as a linebacker, and it just seems like a really good pick for them. Dolphins up on the clock. Tim, you're gonna have to draft for your rival here. You want me to get a kickers,
you're not gonna give me the Cowboys?
No, I'm not.
Hey, you picked for my Pats. Come on now. Nah. All right, for the Dolphins. Yeah, let's go with Chris Jenkins. I think, they definitely need defensive line help anyway. That's one of Miami's weaknesses.
Mike is up for the Cowboys. I must have miscounted because I thought I had the Cowboys, but it's okay.
No, you're good. I was just, messing with you.
I mean, God, man, Edgerrin Cooper really hurts. I was really hoping he'd fall. Ugh.
Who did they pick for round 1 again?
Amarius Mims.
Okay, yeah.
Amarius Mims.
I'll tell you, Malachi Corley is a 30 visit guy. They brought him in.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they went there. I don't think.
This guy's the 30 visit guy, Jonathan Brooks.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm looking. I think I'm going to take Jonathan Brooks. He's one of those guys. Listen, he's really, I think, the only running back that could be taken in round 2, right? And this is what I mean. I'm not talking about later round guys like Marshawn Lloyd or Audric Estime or like any of those. I'm talking about earlier round guys, Trey Benson, Bucky Irving, Blake Corum, those guys. I think Jonathan Brooks, from a pure talent perspective, is the only one that I could see being like a super breakout player. Like that's one of those guys where I think like he's so good at being patient behind the line. Like he's got a lot of like Le'Veon Bell qualities that I really, really like.
Okay.
People are scared with the injury, but I think that at this point,
Cowboys are not afraid of injured players in the second round.
No, they're not.
So.
And that's kind of why it fits, right? And he's a Texas kid, right? So I think
30 visit guy.
Right. I think
For
they
me,
like.
here's the thing. For me, I would hate the pick, but this sounds like a Cowboys thing. So
Why would
go
you
ahead and
hate
lock
it?
it in
That's interesting to me.
because I just don't believe in drafting running backs early.
I mean,
I
this
just
isn't
Well, it's
early. I mean, this is
mid
second
second
round,
round.
but you're talking. Listen, here's the thing: is second round for me is a premium pick, and I'm done spending. Like, talk about last year's draft in general. You spent on non-premium positions your top 3 selections in defensive tackle, tight end, linebacker.
right.
None of those are valuable positions in today's NFL.
Mhm.
And then you're going to come back this year and pick Marius Mims. Great pick. I would like that pick. Kind of a, what do you have here in this player? And then Jonathan Brooks coming off the injury. It's just like that pairing would make me very weary with
Mm-hmm.
how I project the Cowboys season going. You're betting on people again, and I feel like they tried to do that last year and it just didn't work out.
So, all right. So let's be fair here, Abe, because you're the guy with the Cowboys podcast, right? And you haven't picked for the Cowboys tonight. So, who would you have picked in this spot if not Jonathan Brooks?
I would have went with Malachi Corley just
Yeah.
because he's another 30 visit guy. He's a guy that, and for what I think that the Cowboys, it's a copycat league. Who beats the Cowboys more than anybody? It seems like the 49ers, right?
Yeah.
Who does Malachi Corley comp to? Debo Samuel, right?
Yeah.
And so it makes me think like this is, if you want the guy, you got to get him in this kind of area. And then at the same point is like center, you're not loving any of these guys. Christian Haynes, if you kicked him into center, I would really like that pick. But I don't know if he can do it necessarily.
I think Christian Haynes has a solid shot to go in round 3. Christian
think
Haynes
so?
is one of those. Yeah, I think so. I mean, Christian Haynes is one of those players where I think his draft range is really wide. Like he could go anywhere as early as like 36 and go as late as like 90. Like he's one of those players to me. So
yeah, and another thing is like the running back class for me, it's not Jonathan Brooks, all these other people under him. They're like this to me. They're in a stack, and of course, Jonathan Brooks he's probably my running back one, if not for injury. But just the disgust in my mouth when I think Cowboys taking another injured player round 2, it just doesn't sit well with me. So
sorry to disappoint you.
no, it's fine. No, and it's not that I didn't think that the Cowboys would do this. That would not surprise me at all. It really would. It's on brand. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep.
Are we gonna go Brooks?
Jonathan Brooks. Yep.
Okay. And Tampa Bay Buccaneers up for me right here. You're gonna sell some jerseys here, guys. We're going TJ Tampa to Tampa, and
how perfect is that?
It's a match made in heaven. Obviously, they need cornerback help, and I mean, what Tampa and Tampa, like that doesn't get any better than that. So I don't know what else to say about that.
Timmy, you're up with Green Bay here.
Packers
you know what?
again.
Ram Barton and Tyler Nubin.
That's a good draft, dude.
That is a solid
good draft.
It really is. That's very meat and potatoes.
I'm gonna go with Blake Corum here because even though they might not look like they need it, I think that down the line, yes, one of if not both their running backs are gonna be gone, so they're gonna need somebody. And to get Blake Corum,
they signed Josh Jacobs, right?
Yeah. Well, but again, Blake Corum, again, you're gonna need depth at
Blake Corum, anyway. AJ Dillon, and Josh Jacobs.
That's it.
The little bowling ball room. Okay.
It is. But you know what, EJ? They did the same exact thing with AJ Dillon. The same year they drafted Jordan Love, right? They like to kind of stack positions and then plan for the future in that way. They did the same thing when Aaron Jones was going crazy too. So
don't hate it. Who do we have the Texans picking earlier?
Braden Fisk. Yeah, this is me, I think, right?
They didn't have a first rounder, did they?
They did not. Yeah, no, they traded back with Minnesota.
Yep.
So, okay. I am like really tempted to just keep stacking this wide receiver room.
Do it.
I really am, dude. I really am. Because if you really think about it, right? Like, how quickly did Houston turn around their entire roster? Like, their roster is complete. It really is, dude. It's so complete.
I will say, like, the wide receiver is very tempting. I don't get me wrong, but they do have a defensive minded head coach, and you got to think, like, is there somebody that's hitting you in the face, like, oh, okay, this guy could definitely be there.
I mean,
that they would want?
outside of Max Melton, maybe. I just like I don't know that the corner is there. Like I'm a big fan of Kalen Carson, but I'm like Kalen Carson is also, I think, a 3rd, 4th round pick.
I think that Kyrie Jackson is going to go 2nd round.
Kyrie Jackson could go 2nd round. I am gonna. Ooh, this is tough. Okay. I am going to. What do they have in the wide receiver room right now? Diggs, Tank Dell, Nico Collins.
Nico. Mm-hmm. They have another guy. They have 4 deep, if I remember right.
Yeah,
they're like 6 deep, dude. Noah Brown, John Mechie, like they've
Noah
got
Brown. That's who it is.
They've got receivers up the wazoo. So I might, you know what? I might pass on that. You know what? I'm gonna. There's no linebackers really around either. They're all gone.
Let me look.
They're all gone. I mean,
Trotter.
unless I'm taking Jeremy Trotter or I'm taking Cedric Gray or something like that, but I think that's early for them too. Yeah, I'll take Max Melton here. He's one of those like sneaky corners that I think could go pretty early. Again, it just adding to this defense, solidifying it. You know,
I haven't watched Max Melton, so I'm not sure about him.
He's a good player. He's an entertaining corner. He puts on a show.
All right, we went with the Bills for a wide receiver earlier in the draft. Go ahead and just get him another wide receiver. Roman Wilson right here.
Yeah.
Diggs replacement.
Guys. Yeah.
No, I'm trying to think if there's somebody that I'd rather have. They have so many holes on that team. But it's almost like as Josh Allen kind of goes, they go. So maybe you do want to go Roman Wilson.
Roman Wilson would not surprise me even in the slightest.
Oh, absolutely not.
I could see them doubling up on wide receiver easily.
Yeah, that, or if you wanted to, you could probably go, at least right here, Jonah Ellis or Chris Braswell, because Von Miller is in his final year.
Marshawn Nealand is still available as well for Buffalo. I mean,
Marshawn Lehman. You talked me into it. This guy, this is the guy.
You've been dying for that.
Yeah,
I've been dying for the pick.
I'm
not a fan of Braswell or Ellis, really.
Well, you stole my pick. Let's put it that way, because
Detroit was right there.
Detroit was right there.
Damn.
Shouldn't have said it.
I'm a big Dan Campbell guy. I don't know if you could tell, but I absolutely love Dan Campbell.
But I'll tell you this though, they need guard help.
Wilson here, Tim.
No, listen, they need guard help. Christian Haynes he'd fit Detroit too. He's a tough-nosed dude that will battle in there in the interior.
Yeah. Well, I was definitely trying to go. What do we do with them earlier?
We went with Verse, didn't we?
Jared
Verse. That's right. Yeah. So I was going offensive line anyway, and I was trying to figure out whether I should go Kieran from Yale or
they have Panay Sewell, and then they have
here's
Decker,
my question,
I believe, right?
Here's my question. Why the need for guard? Right? Like they just signed Kevin Zeitler. Graham Glasgow's a really solid interior guard. Like I think it's because Ragnow is getting up there, if I remember right, and that's one of the things that they do not want to go back to where they don't have any offensive linemen. Like they have one of the best offensive line in the league when everybody's healthy, and did they lose Decker? No, Decker's still there.
Okay.
Decker is still there, and then Panay Sewell.
Yeah, I mean,
right tackle.
It is what it is. I mean, I guess maybe we could go with this could be a spot for Kyrie Jackson, physical outside corner.
Yeah, that's kind of what
Um,
I'm thinking is corner here.
I've heard of this Phillips kid. He's kind of jumped up the board. I have not watched
Andrew
him.
Phillips. Yeah. Chris Abrams Drain is somebody I would look at here too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kyrie Jackson, Cam Hart. But again,
What are you looking at?
yeah, right.
What are you looking at, Tim?
Yeah, well, I just pulled up their roster here.
What's their O line looking at? Is it still good or? I feel like they
Taylor
lost
Decker,
somebody.
Taylor Decker is still there. Well, according to their depth chart, hold on, let me.
Yeah, it's Decker, Graham Glasgow, Frank Ragnow, Kevin Zeitler, and Panay Sewell on the offensive line for them. That's stout.
That's stout, yeah.
It's a hell of a line.
And don't forget, why the freak did I forget his name? Stupid dude that ineligible receiver or whatever. What was his
Skipper?
Yeah, Skipper. There you go.
Skipper.
Hey, put some respect on Dan's name, bro.
He skipped reporting.
No, he reported. That's such nonsense. You guys should have lost that game. I'm sorry. That was nonsense. You should have lost that game.
Yeah.
We're not getting into that again.
Yeah, it's right. Mr. Tuck rule, whatever.
Hey, that was the rule, baby. That was the rule. His arm was in motion. All right, let's go for this. Yeah, let's go DB. Let's go Kyrie Jackson out of Oregon.
I like it. Former
Alabama
cornerback. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Baltimore, Mike, don't mess up the pick again. They're a good drafting team. Who did they go with the first round?
Don't mess up the pick again. What? I messed it up the first time?
No, Tyler Guyton. I'm not big on Tyler Guyton, but go ahead.
Give me Roman Wilson. I'll take Roman Wilson. They can use a little bit of extra depth at receiver. I'll take Roman Wilson here.
I like the pick. Offensive. Who the Niners go? Jordan Morgan. That's right. Okay, so I already filled that. Cornerback. Yeah, I think Renardo Green fits in there. Just a guy that has good hands, can play on the outside. Not the most physical, but he'll come up and hit you. I think that, the Niners, obviously, they like those guys that can play heavy press, but Renardo Green at this point is just too good a value, in my opinion, to let go. So I'm going to go with Green. And I haven't watched Phillips, so I don't know. Maybe he is better. But I'm going to lean on who I've watched a little bit more. Chiefs up here. You got the Super Bowl champs again, Tim. Who did they go with round one again?
Kicker.
Nate Wiggins. Nate Wiggins.
Yeah, give them a kicker and just be done with it.
No. Hey, you got Kieran Amagachi right there. You got wide receiver as well.
Malachi Corley would be disgusting in this offense.
Yeah. I would hate to see it, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I think they also need O-line help because Jawan Taylor there was a friggin' disaster lining up offsides almost every single play.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
So yeah, let's take the Ivy League smart kid.
Karan
you probably won't have to worry about this guy getting in trouble, at least, because he's from Yale.
True.
Like, you got it probably pretty
the
smart.
Ivy League.
Here is our first round mock. It only shows the first round, unfortunately, but I'll run through these real quick. We got the Bears going Caleb Williams, the Commanders going Drake May, Jaden Daniels for the Vikings, Marvin Harrison Jr. for the Cardinals, Joe Alt for the Chargers, J.J. McCarthy for the Giants, Malik Neighbors for the Titans, Quinyon Mitchell for the Falcons. The Bears get Romo Dunze, pair him with Caleb Williams, Fuaga to the Jets, Michael Penix to the Patriots, crazy Bo Nix to the Denver Broncos, Terrion Arnold to the Raiders, Troy Fatanu to the Saints, Brock Bowers to the Colts, Byron Murphy II to the Seattle Seahawks, J.C. Latham to the Jags, Newton to the Bengals, Turner to the Rams, Fashanu to the Steelers, Dolphins with Dijon or DeJean, however you want to say it. McKinstry to the Eagles. Mitchell to the Pats. Amarius Mims to the Dallas Cowboys. Graham Barton to the Packers. Tampa Bay Buccaneers getting Latu. Then we got the Cards again with Darius Robinson. The Bills with Brian Thomas Jr. dropping down the board, but they got a stellar player there. Jared Verse for the Lions. Tyler Guyton to the Baltimore Ravens. San Francisco 49ers go Jordan Morgan. And to end it out, Nate Wiggins with the reigning Super Bowl champs, the Kansas City Chiefs. And I don't know what you guys think overall, but I had a lot of fun with that. I thought that, I mean, I liked all the picks I did. I don't know about you guys. I didn't like your guys' picks as much as mine, but no, it was a fun time. And
It was. And by the way, check your watch. What did I say pre-show?
It's true.
hey, perfect,
Listen, I thought
perfect
you were
timing.
being conservative, man. I really did.
Hey, sometimes we just got to roll through the picks, man. Sometimes it's no-brainers. But yeah, man, I think that the Cowboys did terrible, but no, I'm just kidding. Mike.
Hey,
I actually do like the Mims pick. Anyways, though, guys, if this is your first time on the Grid Network, I know some people were on from my channel, but this is more of a Grid Network kind of a thing. And so with that, we do all sorts of sports. It's not just Cowboys or football. My guy Mike has a great baseball show that he does with another co-host that's also with the Grid Network. Tim, he does all sorts of sports. He doesn't just do football. He does basketball. He does baseball,
look
hockey,
at Al Horford back
all
there.
sorts of
Look at
stuff. So if you guys are interested in any of that, do check out these guys' channel. Do you guys have anything else to say before we pop off here?
Nah, man, it was fun. I really enjoyed it, and it's gonna be fun next week. See how we compared to what
Yes.
actually happened.
Six more days until Karan Amagagie goes in the first round. I'm just waiting for it, man.
Hey,
just
6
waiting for it.
quarterbacks though. 6
Dallas,
quarterbacks.
right?
in
To the
ours.
Patriots. Karan Amagagie to the Patriots first round. Just waiting for it.
Oh man, yeah. Hey, Tim, if they draft Fisher early on in the first or second round, hey, don't call me a prophet, but
Easy,
Profit.
easy.
no, but it was a great time. I respect these guys for getting on here, chopping it up, and talking NFL draft, and it's gonna be a fun time Thursday night next week when the Cowboys when the actual draft starts. I'm excited because my team can maybe do something better. I always say the Joneses, if they didn't have to, they probably wouldn't draft because it's easier for them. But hey, it's one of those things. Every single team has hope after the draft, and that's what's so fun about it. You get new players, and it brings back that childish nature of, oh, we're gonna win, we're gonna be better, and so it's a lot of fun. Anyways.
Until the depressing reality of
Training camp.
That's right.
Yeah. No, yeah. Until you're in week 6 and you realize, yeah, we still suck. Anyways, it's a lot of fun. If you guys are still on our side, please do leave a like, leave a comment. Just helps us grow. And with that being said, peace.